Hoi hoi folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. So recently on my Instagram I put out a poll and asked people whether they would like to see a sketch tour, and the response was overwhelmingly yes, so thought that'd be a nice thing to share with you. So I'm actually a massive fan of sketching, not such a fan of sketchbooks. So there's a couple of my sketchbooks. I've got a good 24 sketchbooks up there. Actually, right up here. Oh. Okay, so this sketchbook, my husband actually bought me for our wedding anniversary several years ago. It's a really nice recycled leather sketchbook. It was our leather wedding anniversary, my favourite, Slytherin green, and there's not a single thing in there because the kind of sentimental value of the book outweighs the use of it, I guess, but I'm determined to use this book at some point, so I will sketch in this. But generally, let me just pop this away. But generally when I'm sketching, I'm just using a drawing board and pretty much simple printer paper. That's just what I do because I like to sketch very quickly and very loosely. I also use a light box as well, and actually just having sketches on random sheets of paper. So I've gone through and kind of just grabbed a random selection of some of my sketches, and there's a big stack of them there. There's a bigger pile over here which I won't go through now, but I just thought this would be a really nice way to kind of go through how I sketch, what kind of things I sketch. I've fallen out of the habit of sketching every day. I would like to get back into it, but you know, things happen, work happens. I just show you, actually I'll show you what my typical example of one of my sketchbooks is. So doodles, blank, doodle, and then the rest is blank. I've not done anything in it yet. This is another one which has a bit more, but this was more of a study book, so I will show you that as well. But I think I'll turn the camera around and let's kind of delve into what I've got here, and we can have a really good look. And I'd like to know your thoughts as well. Are you a loose paper sketcher, or are you a sketchbook sketcher? Maybe I'll make a poll for that as well. But anyway, let's dive in. Okay, so I thought, even though all of my sketches generally are just on loose sheets of paper, I thought it'd be nice to talk about sketchbooks at least. I do use sketchbooks, but not in the way you might think. I use sketches in them, of course, but they're generally more of like a study aid for me. So if I'm studying a particular topic, that's what I use a sketchbook for. So these two sketchbooks that I've got here, this one's got very little in it at the moment, but I wanted to show you this one and actually go from where I started doing a particular study. So it's just full of random things. So for instance, we've got some Rick and Morty things in here. A hippo from Fantasia. Here we go. So J.C. Lindecker study. So I wanted to break down and study the style of J.C. Lindecker, what makes his art style, the shape language, all of that kind of thing. And I noticed that he had really strong rhythm in the shapes of his faces and his portraits. So you can see here I've done a little study of one of his pieces. Ear further back, skull needs, or the back of the skull needs to be longer, one or the other. I couldn't quite decide, or whether it needed to be both. So I decided just to spend more time studying some of his paintings. So here's a couple of them, and you can see actually what I like doing is turning the pages around. So if I'm working on this, I was like, actually it's not working, I want to try something else. If I just did that underneath, then I'd probably be distracted by what's above. So I find if you turn the page, you know, it doesn't have to be a full turn, it can be a part turn, but actually it just gives you a different perspective, and this is no longer something that's interrupting you because you're not seeing it in the way that you originally intended to. But here's some more studies of his. So this is, I found a picture on Pinterest of a model and just decided to play around with the style of J.C. Lindecker and see if I could make something. So this was my first attempt. It was okay, could have been better, but it was okay. And then I carried on. So this is a J.C. Lindecker, and this one, and this one, and this one. You can see where I'm going with this. Actually, this one I believe is based on J.C. Lindecker's life partner, so the person that he lived with and shared his life with. J.C. Lindecker was gay. His partner actually became the archetype for the original Superman character. So, interesting bit of art history there. We've also got this one here, this one. This one I really enjoyed because obviously it's an English soldier, but just the bulge of the neck on the top of the collar, the sharp angles around the hat as well. And Lindecker would paint that and then come in with white and really push back those shapes. And I feel like I'm going down an art geek journey, and I should probably stop in a moment. This is the last one that I've done actually of a J.C. Lindecker piece, and then this was my second attempt at taking a modern piece and interpreting in a Lindecker style, and this one I like much more. Actually, this could be the basis for a painting for me. I just haven't actually got round to doing that yet, but that's the kind of thing that I do in these books. And then we've got a Babadook, which was an idea for a painting, which is actually up on my wall. A few thumbnails. So I love working in biro. I love sketching in biro. I think it takes away the need for perfection and wanting to rub things out. It's really good just to get an idea down and be really fluid with it. So this was for an art prof dare. So Clara Lou, who runs the Art Prof YouTube channel, puts out a monthly dare, and this was one of them. It's a pen and ink. So this was dip, pen and brush, I think, and obviously some watercolours, and then some studies of parts of a cat. And I think that's, apart from a couple of thumbnails, that's pretty much it. So you see that actually sketchbooks for me are more of like a study thing rather than just general sketching. And it's the same in this one. So this one that I started, I was testing out some paint. And then this is a Zac Efron, but again it's in following those rhythms in the face that I discovered when studying J.C. Lindecker, and that's kind of become my go-to thing now for mapping out a face. And the rest of this is currently blank until I fill it up. But enough of the books, let's get on to kind of the main event, which is all of these loose sheets of paper. And again, leave a comment down below. Tell me, are you a book sketcher or are you a paper sketcher? So we've got a couple here which are, so these are gorillas, kind of little studies that were either done at London Zoo or done from pictures at London Zoo. From when we went, you might even remember the video. I ended up doing a painting off the back of these. Wasn't happy with the painting, actually, in the end. I thought I could have done much better, but I've really enjoyed the sketches, and it's always important to keep your sketches of reference. Baby penguin. You might see a theme emerging. I like drawing people, and I like drawing animals. A field mouse with some poppy heads, and a squirrel, and these are very, very loose things. This one was an interesting one because I like to give myself little challenges sometimes, and this was I think a 5-minute sketch, maybe 10 minutes, with really cheap coloured pencils, and I had a reference image of a fried egg, and I just wanted to see how much of that I could get down on the page and just what colours were in it. So actually there was quite a lot of brown and green in there, which I wasn't expecting for a fried egg. I really like that. I probably should have given myself more time and carried on with that, because that was a fun thing to do. Yeah, so this was for a friend, so I was doing some kind of studies to show different ways, different examples of how to do different sketches and to observe things in real life. So just outline of an apple, then we're looking at the shadow of an apple with very little line work, and then here looking at the 3D forms that make up that apple, so you have a better kind of visual understanding in space of what that thing is. And again, you can see I started and I've turned the page as I've gone, and that gives me a different view each time, and I'm not being distracted by what I've done before. These are just some quick gesture drawings. So I got into the habit of drawing pretty much every day, doing 2 or 3 little doodles, and this is the kind of thing that I would do as well, just to loosen up. And you can see just, you know, the line of action down the body, seeing where the weight lands. That's the kind of thing that I was looking there. So they're not finished pieces, they're just little doodles. Some ballet feet. That was an initial sketch for a digital painting that I did. Actually, it's important to say that I did a lot of digital sketching as well. So I've got dozens and dozens and dozens of pages on my computer and probably on my iPad as well, just of digital sketches. If you want to see some of those, leave a comment down below, and I'm sure I can do a sketch tool digital version. So these are, I think these are quick head studies that I did whilst watching what would it have been? Either Bake Off or Sherlock or The Haunting of Hill House. So what I do is I'll watch a program on Netflix and then I'll randomly pause. And where I pause, I find an interesting face in there and give it a quick doodle and go really, really quickly. In fact, can I find the pencil that I generally use for it? So these kinds of studies are done with this, which is a great big thick Koh-i-Noor clutch pencil, and it has a great big lead in it, and it just gives a really nice, I'm not worried about details then, I'm just worried about shape and shade. So love this. And then some of them I go over with a smaller Koh-i-Noor pencil or just a standard pencil, and then some of them I even go even further with a fine mechanical pencil. But this is generally just a very loose sketch. Here we've got some more gesture stuff, and you can see they're really loose. And by doing it like this, I can use a light box and then kind of develop it further if I want to. I'm not sure who that is or what that is, but it's interesting for me. Yeah, this is a skull study that I did. I think this might have actually been for a scrawler box, I seem to remember. There was this and some pattern stuff that I did with it as well. I love skulls. I not just human skulls, I love animal skulls as well. I think they're so interesting and they're so detailed and there's so many kind of nooks and crannies and there's so much depth to them. Really enjoy drawing skulls. In fact, I do have a sketchbook where I mostly just drew skulls in it. I wonder if I can find that one out another time maybe. Oh yeah, here are some of the doodles that went along with that. So some flower motifs. This is definitely a Haunting of Hill House, or a Haunting of Bly Manor even. And another one. So this is one of those very quick ones. So this is another style study thing. So this is I was studying Dr. Seuss and how Dr. Seuss kind of creates characters. So just doing some very quick study drawings, particularly around the eyes and the head shapes for the different characters. You can see Horton's feet down here. So that was really interesting. A study on shadow. I'm just seeing where shadows fall on a face. So this was, I believe, Mycroft from Sherlock. That was a really quick one. And more faces. A Spider-Man, of course. What do we have here? I think this is an Enchantress, maybe? I do love comic book art as well. Yeah, we seem to be coming into a comic book section. So there we go. I have no idea what this is, but I absolutely love it. It's like a little fish lizard guy. I really want to draw him out more. A zombie. I do love a bit of horror. So a little zombie guy. Bit of a mix here, horror and comic books. So we've got a Ghost Rider. Some of these were sketches for Inktober's. So I have to question. There we go. Ryuk. Yeah. So this one did actually become an Inktober sketch, which I really like. But I really like the sketch as well. Oh yeah, a gouache sketch. So this is when I was playing around with some gouache, just seeing what I could do. Again, not overly happy with it, but it was a fun little experiment and probably something I should return to. A Joker. I'll come back to this in a minute because there are more of those. But yeah, a Joker. Again, another Inktober one. A No Face. Swamp Thing. So this is again. It's another coloured pencil sketch. So I think if you're working with coloured pencils, sometimes it's nice to see what can you do without using any graphite at all and just go in with a coloured pencil, and this was one of the results of that. I actually really quite like that. And this shows that actually some sketches that I do are not even sketches for pictures, they're sketches for ideas. So actually this is a piece that I have in mind for an illusion using some Stuart Semple Culture Hustle paints and some glow pigments. It's kind of a semi-sculpture art installation thing that probably put behind me in some of the videos. But yeah, some of them are just random ideas, and I'd almost forgotten about that one, so I'll make sure I pick that one back up again. It's nice going through sketches sometimes. Goku, there we go. Yeah, here are the others. So this was my version of the kind of the original Ghost Pokemon, if they were a little bit more horrific. So there we are. That's the 3 of them. Another Enchantress. So this was for an initial idea for a sketch swap that I did with Brandon B Artistry, another artist on Instagram. He gave me a robot to do. I gave him a space duck to do. What's this? I think this may be a harpy eagle or a secretary bird or something. And some more face studies. You can see some of these are really quick scribbles. And I think if you are doing it every day, you just get into the habit of seeing things in a different way. Looking at the shape of a cat, where the shadows would fall, and just the kind of the shapes that make up that cat. That's a really quick one, very quick. Nice head study. We've got a few of these coming up, I think. Yeah, so you can see some of them are really loose. This was nice. I was just kind of pushing the style a little bit and pulling some of the shapes about. That one I think I used for a digital. That's definitely a Sherlock. That's a Benedict if I've ever seen one. So if you see any, and they've got like here 3M, so that's 3 minutes. So 3-minute sketch. And again, this was done with that chunky pencil, and this is when I was watching Bake Off, obviously. That's a Sherlock, definitely. I don't know about this one. Or this one, I don't know where this one came from either. This is a figure study, and again, this was a heavily shadowed character, so we need to kind of play about with shadow a little bit. Another really heavily shadowed one. I have no idea where this is from. Here we go, this is another Bake Off. And a Bake Off. Bake Off was really good for getting people in action poses, because everyone is doing something in Bake Off. This is a kind of rough out sketch that turned into a nice ink drawing that I have on my board. It's a very quick 2-minute doodle of Tinkerbell, our cat. I think this is more Bake Off. That's not Bake Off, but I'm not sure where it's from. You can tell I draw people a lot. I like to draw people and faces. That's an interesting one. It's actually quite scary. That's a Sherlock, definitely. Bake Off. A Bake Off. A Sherlock, I think. I'm not overly happy with that one. Oh, we've got some lizards. So green crested gecko, caiman crocodile, bearded dragon, Galapagos lizard, a sun gazer, weird horned lizard, a day gecko, a casque-head lizard. There's a turtle head down here, or tortoise head. This one I was looking more at the composition on the screen, kind of the light and the shade. I think that's a Sandy Toxvic. It's another Benedict. Another Benedict. And another Benedict. There's a few of those. Some more Bake Off. Wow, there are a lot more in here than I thought there was going to be. More Bake Off. More Bake Off. That's a Noel Fielding. That's a very grumpy looking man. More Bake Off. More Bake Off. Again, getting those action poses in. That is some more of those flower doodles. And some more. We've got a Genie. So remember I did the Genie in several styles, so I had to study the Genie first. So that's what that was for, and some more Genie there. I don't know what that is. And then these last two, these are a couple of pencil drawings, which again turned into if I do the same picture every day for a week in different styles, what would it look like? And these are the pencil drawing sketches that came from that. And again, you can see even here, I'm using what I had learned from JC Lindecker. So sketching is actually something really important, but it depends what you want to get out of it. If you want to do it for fun, great. If you want to do it to study, great. But I don't think you should be so rigid as, here's my sketchbook and I'm going to complete this sketchbook. I don't think that's a healthy habit to have necessarily. I think you should just set yourself a target of, I'm going to do 2 sketches a week, or 1 sketch a day, or do something for an hour or 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever you want. But I think we should all move away from this completionist attitude of, I'm going to get this sketchbook and do from page 1 to the last page. Just have fun with art. That's what art is for. It's to have fun. I think that's the main message here. But anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you've enjoyed looking through some of my sketches as well. There were some surprises in here for things that I had forgotten that I'd done, and some ideas for me to pick up as well. But as always, goodbye for now, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.